Hi, my name is Melanie. I'm with Confluence Art Solutions, and this is This Month in Arts Marketing. Our topic for this month is something near and dear to me. It is ticket discounting. We're going to talk about why it's important, when you should deploy your ticket discounts, and some good methods for it. I've also got with me Lynette Shy and Megan Woodward. Well, Lynette, why would somebody want to do ticket discounts?
The right way to do it or the wrong way to do it?
Now, why would you do it in general?
um, I think that you should do ticket discounting to help fill the theater early, to drive particular groups to try something new, as a reward for people that are associated with your organization in some way, or as a way of trying to build a relationship. I don't think you should do them because your theater's not full and you're looking at the day before and you run like a 50% off sale the day before because that has long-term, I think, long-term repercussions on the organization. So the next time someone goes to buy a ticket, they'll wait until the last minute to buy, and that rewards late buying behavior instead of early buying behavior. So that's my thoughts on it. Um, Mel, I know you sometimes use it as like a dynamic pricing tool.
Yeah, so you could use it. What you could do is set your pricing kind of high-ish ahead of time. You're just your regular single ticket pricing, and then kick off your sales, usually 8 weeks or more, 8 to 12 weeks out with a discounted price. And then as you get closer to the show, the tickets get more expensive. So it creates a dynamic pricing structure without having to say you're doing dynamic pricing or needing to pull the triggers on that, because that sometimes can be difficult in a last minute setting, depending on if you run your box office or not, or if you or if you have to use, like, if you've got to use an outside source, to mention one, Ticketmaster is your software platform. Normally they have to pull the triggers on dynamic pricing for you, and that's not something you're allowed to handle internally.
Oh,
So you could use your
That's
discounts ahead of time.
that's an interesting way to think about it too. Framing it as discounts with the effects of dynamic pricing, because then it sounds more like a positive experience for the ticket buyer versus like the threat of tickets getting more expensive in the future. If you frame it with with your early discount of you're getting this much off your tickets right now, it sounds like a positive experience of like we're giving you this opportunity versus the messaging around dynamic pricing of like beware, tickets get more expensive the closer they get to the show. Even if that is what happens, that's not like what the messaging is saying as much then.
It isn't, because it's your published full price ticket.
Hmm.
So, and as Lynette said, it's training audience behavior.
Yeah.
Buy early and save. That's a fantastic call to action message, that works well in emails and on social media. And then they know to buy early, follow you on your social media channels, sign up for your email lists, and they can get those discounts. Little like being an insider.
Mm.
so I'm going to challenge now, and you guys don't know I'm about to ask this question, so we'll see how it goes. So Colleen Dillon Schneider, who does the blog Know Your Own Bone and who does impacts experience studies with audiences across the United States, the latest study showed that audiences actually enjoy events more when they pay full price. So do you think that should affect uh, pricing structure, or do you feel like what are your thoughts on that? I know I'm throwing this to you out.
Well, it makes me think right away about how we've been seeing in more recent years that discounts are less effective to bring somebody in that was on the fence about going to an event or not, about how the price and small discounts isn't necessarily the driving factor, but that we're seeing that the sense of community and live experience is what is making that decision. And so, but it is surprising to see that people enjoy it more.
So I think it really has to do with your audience for your ticket discounts.
Mhm.
So it's use your discounting to and target that message. A little bit of public discounting to kick off ticket sales is always a great idea. that's just, it's a nice way to, it kind of puts a splash on it, and it's a good ROI on your advertising investment. But then as you get closer to the show, you don't have those public discounts, and it just goes to targeted audiences, which could be your subscribers, if you have some sort of academy, some sort of student program, them, major donors. So, developing a relationship with your development office and using ticket discounting is great. They can offer this to corporate partners or community partners who in some way provide fundraising as thank you. And it creates that insider audience. So I can see with what Colleen is saying, yeah, your general public probably is comfortable paying full price as long as you have reasonable full prices. But that doesn't mean you can't use this on very specific targeted audiences.
So what I'm,
It's a little,
oh, go ahead.
it sounds like that element of when things go on crazy discount, you almost wonder what's wrong with it. There is something to say about paying full price for an experience because it's worth it and the audiences are doing that, or ticket buyers, or just if we're thinking like product world, like consumers are spending full price for it because it's worth it. If you see that a product is going on super sale, I'm like, maybe there's something wrong with it because people aren't buying it. And I think maybe that has something to do with how people feel about paying full price for a ticket.
Yeah, it feels like it's devaluing the product. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was just
But
going to say
then,
the same thing. Yeah,
yeah,
devaluing the product. It looks
yeah.
like you're devaluing what's going on, what's wrong, especially if you're fire sailing. If you're running discounts right as you're about to open, it has a negative look and effect on what you're trying to do for the longevity of the organization.
Mhm.
It's a lot longer lasting than just that one performance.
And I think it also matters, again, when you're thinking about how you're communicating these things, like you said, Mel, it can go either to the public or to a specific audience. If it's a discount that you put on your social media pages that feels more public, it's going to feel more desperate, and that's for lack of a better word if we're thinking about this last minute discount, versus a email that goes to a targeted list and feels more personalized to the group of people that you're communicating to. Like how one of our favorites to look into, if it's possible for an organization, is repeat ticket buyers. Somebody who has come in the past, hasn't come recently, reaching out to them in a specific way, welcoming them back in the language then can be so specific to why you're reaching out to a specific group, to donors, to corporate sponsors, to repeat ticket buyers, then it gets to be more personalized in how you're communicating it.
Yep. Planning ahead and using data to help decide what you're going to do about ticket discounts. And the plan ahead is great because it keeps you from being influenced by outside sources. I don't need to name those, but you know who they are, who start to look at numbers and have an interesting reaction to them and are forcing you to change how you market and how you and the messaging you're putting out there. So if you plan ahead on how you're going to handle discounts, you can mitigate those influences from people who aren't doing the day-to-day marketing.
And actually, that was part, like, that's where I was going to go next too, is planning ahead. Because you know us, we're always like plan, 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 and have a strategy. So there's not a strategy of like, oh, we'll discount if stuff doesn't come through, but why you're discounting, who you're discounting to. And we say too, like, you don't just randomly publicly paper your house ever. But I usually have a plan in place for when to kick in papering and how we're going to kick in the papering of the house. So that never goes public. So I think all of that should be thought through way ahead of time, to save you a lot of grief in the end, not only from people that might want to contribute their own opinions, but also just knowing like, oh, we're at this point now, we haven't sold 50% of tickets for this single show. So for this single show, we're gonna push a group into that one performance. Do you have feelings one way or another about discounting on any specific level? Meaning like performances?
Well, definitely looking at performances. So I think I'll go back to I'll touch lightly on data because I don't know about you guys. I feel like we should do a whole thing on data at another point in time. But track your ticket sales. From the moment you start selling tickets, track your ticket sales and start looking at the trends and then comparing them against the trends of like performances. So if you haven't been tracking your data, start now. If you have been, track it, look against it, and that'll show you how your selling pattern is among your audience. So that way you can mitigate panics about how the revenue is looking. And so there's that piece about that, tracking your data, looking at your data. And then what was it that you talked about? You said
Specific performances. So discounting, like not a widespread discount.
Not a blanket. Don't blanket discount. Just, hit those performances, hit those shows that just aren't selling. Is it your Friday nights are always low? Run a discount on Friday night, or is it your Sunday matinees? And even you can even get real nitty gritty and only discount certain sections. So start looking at the buying pattern of in the theater itself and discount those seats. So maybe don't. Usually your lowest level of seats tend to sell. So you might need to discount the seats that are kind of next to that price level or even a little bit above. To try to fill those sections, and looking at how you structure your theater seating map to increase what is a full feeling theater, even if maybe your revenue doesn't support that it was full. Your audience will feel like it's full and think you're the hottest ticket in town and want to rebuy.
What I think this is getting at too is like that there is some trial and error. And I'm sure everybody is always trying to find the best recommended way, but there's also some trial and error of what types of discounts work for your community, your ticket buyers, your audiences. And I just had a meeting with a client this week. I don't think I've told you guys this yet, but they ran a Christmas in July sale and we're very happy with the turnaround in ticket purchases. They did it for one show for their season. Running the discount in July. The show isn't until the spring. And they said compared to when they do a Black Friday discount, they saw a substantially higher return on running this discount in Christmas and July. And so it's those learning lessons of you try different things and see what works best for your audience. They might not need to put in the energy anymore to run Black Friday discounts when they know that their audience responds so well to Christmas and July.
Right. But they planned ahead.
Months and months ahead.
Right. And I think my big takeaway, or I don't know if it's a takeaway, but something that I just want to reiterate is even when you discount early, you don't have to discount everything early. And it should be a choice of like what is getting discounted, so that you're not messing up your maximum revenue goals, but still, enticing people to buy early.
Yeah, there was an interesting thing we read recently that brought up that difference of what is the value of having a full house versus lowering the overall ticket price of what people are buying because of certain discounts. And it's about balancing what you need. There's so much truth to a full house feeling absolutely incredible for audiences, but if you're still not reaching goal because the discounts are so steep, then you're putting the financial aspect of the show at risk. And so there's the balancing act of the two of them together.
Think about what is the easiest way to convey your discount that an audience member would understand and realize that it's still a discount. So getting weird with percentages off isn't always helpful. Maybe just straight dollars off. If you're trying to get people to do to buy multiple tickets, so a buy one get one or a 4-pack, definitely do a little bit of your math ahead of time to make sure that there is still slightly a deal, because somebody will do the math and they'll tell you when it's not a deal, and they'll tell you publicly when
like on your
yes.
ad.
They'll put it on your ad. And if it's that's it. Don't make them think too hard about it. Make it enticing so that they click that button and buy the ticket.
I will add one thing after that that's making me remember too. We were talking a lot about taking a discount and targeting the messaging to specific people. I think there's also some value in having specifically targeted discounts. And
Exactly.
then you get to message that out. One of the things I'm thinking of are like 30 under 30 tickets. If you can show maybe with an ID that you are under 30 years old, you get your ticket for a show for $30 if that's a discount to your shows. And I think specific targeted discounts like that too, even though the messaging can be widespread, you can then be reaching new audiences and encouraging a more diverse audience and types of people that you're trying to reach and attract in with those things as well.
Without devaluing your product.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Welcoming people in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will point out, discounting doesn't just matter with performing arts. If you are an art center, you are hosting exhibitions, you are hosting an evening with maybe an author, you can still discount. A pre-sale, that's a discount. Um, People don't want to think about it. Sometimes it doesn't get thought about that way, but that's a discount. So you have a little bit of a pre-sale. You have you're showcasing an exhibition, but your attendance on like Tuesdays is not great. Have a little discount on Tuesdays to increase people to come out. And that's so it's discounting is not just for performances in the arts world. It can also be for museums and cultural arts centers.
Good point. Thanks for watching. We have more information about ticket discounts on our blog, on our website. As always, you can comment below and we'll get back to you or shoot us a message and we'll answer any questions that you have. Have a great month.